जय राधा माधव जय बिहारी। गिरिवरधारी यशोदनन्दना व्रज जनरञ्जना वनचारी हरि राधे। जय राधा गोपीजन वल्लभ राधा गोपीजन वल्लभ राधे। की जय। हरि गो प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय। श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। We will be reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4. Oh, it's already there. Okay. Sure. Canto 4, chapters 8, text 65. Should I share my screen? Okay. Okay. राजोवाच
राजोवाच
सुतो मे बालको ब्रह्मन्
सुतो मे बालको ब्रह्मन्
त्रैणेन करुणात्मना निर्वासिता पञ्चवर्षा
निर्वासिता पञ्चवर्षा
सह मात्रा महान् कविः
सहमात्रा
राजोवाच
राजोवाच
सुतो मे बालको ब्रह्मन्
सुतो मे बालको ब्रह्मन्
स्त्रैणेन करुणात्मना
त्रैणेन करुणात्मना
निर्वासिता पञ्चवर्षा
निर्वासिता पञ्चवर्षा
सह मात्रा महान् कविः सुतो मे बालको ब्रह्मन्
सुतो मे बालको ब्रह्मन्
स्त्रैणेन करुणात्मना
करुणात्मना
निर्वासिता पञ्चवर्षा
निर्वासिता पञ्चवर्षा
सह मात्रा महान् कविः
सह मात्रा महान् कविः राजोवाच
राजोवाच
सुतो मे बालको ब्रह्मन्
सुतो मे बालको ब्रह्मन्
त्रैणे करुणात्मना
त्रैणेन करुणात्मना
निर्वसिता पञ्चवर्षा निर्वासिता पञ्चवर्षा निर्वासिता पञ्चवर्षा निर्वासिता पञ्चवर्षा सह महान् कवि सह मात्रा महान् कवि
Raja Uvacha. The king replied, Suta, son, me, my, Balaka, tender boy, Brahman, my dear Brahmana, Strainena, one who is too addicted to his wife. Akaruna Atmana, one who is very hard of heart and without mercy. Nirvasita is banished. Panchavarsha, although the boy is 5 years old. Saha, with. Matra, mother. Mahan, great personality. Kavihi, devotee. Translation and purport by Jivan Grace, Vedanta Swami Prabhupada ki jai. The king replied, "O best of the Brahmanas, I am very much addicted to my wife, and I am so fallen that I have abandoned all merciful behavior, even to my son who is only 5 years old. I have banished him and his mother, even though he is a great soul and a great devotee." Please repeat. The king replied, "O best of the Brahmanas, I am very much addicted to my wife, and I am so fallen that I have abandoned all merciful behavior, even to my son, who is only 5 years old. I have banished him and his mother, even though he is a great soul and a great devotee." Purport. In this verse, there are some specific words which are to be understood very carefully. The king said that since he was very much addicted to his wife, he had lost all his mercy. That is the result of becoming too affectionate towards women. The king had 2 wives. The first wife was Suniti, and the second was Suruchi. He was too attached to the second wife, however, so he could not behave well with Dhruva Maharaj. That was the cause of Dhruva's leaving home to perform austerities. Although, as a father, the king was affectionate towards his son, he minimized his affection for Dhruva Maharaj because he was too much addicted to the second wife. Now, he was repenting that both Dhruva Maharaj and his mother Suniti were practically banished. Dhruva Maharaj went to the forest, and since his mother was being neglected by the king, she was therefore almost banished also. The king repented, having banished this boy, for Dhruva was only 5 years old, and a father should not banish his wife or children or neglect their maintenance. Repentant over his neglect of both Suniti and her son, he was morose and his face appeared withered. According to Manu Smriti, one should never desert his wife and children. In a case where the wife or children are disobedient and do not follow the principles of home life, they are sometimes given up. But in the case of Dhruva Maharaj, this was not applicable because Dhruva was very mannerly and obedient. Moreover, he was a great devotee. Such a person is never to be neglected, and yet the king was obliged to banish him. Now he was very sorry. Jai Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Chakshurum Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Uta Padakamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatham Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Pada Sahagana Lita Shri Vishakam हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीन बंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी श्री राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वांछा कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Mukam karoti vachalam angum langete girim yat kripa tamaham vande Shri Gurum Dinatarana Paramanandam Shri Chaitanya Ishwara. Hare Krishna. So today's verse is a heavy verse, a heavy purport. So again, if I speak some words which could be a little heavy, repeating what I've heard or Srimad Bhagavatam, it is just to do justice to the verse and to the purport. It is not reflective of my fallen nature as a grahastha in this world, still being tossed by the waves of material existence. Just by the order of Shyam Kishore Prabhu, I'll try to repeat a few words I've heard. Hare Krishna. So we had a wonderful session yesterday by Yugal Kishore Prabhu. Every sentence, every word he spoke was so potent, and I was reflecting on it and reading some of the notes that Bhagavatacharya Prabhu also presented to see where we can pick up from where Prabhu left off. And the scenario, as we all know, is that Narad Muni is coming. He didn't have to come, but he's coming to Uttanupada, right? After he gave instructions to Dhruva Maharaj. And Narad Muni comes at the perfect place to the perfect person, and in the perfect way, he approaches that devotee. And Uttanupada is not an ordinary person. Earlier in this chapter, it was described how he was the son of a plenary incarnation of the Supreme Lord, Swayambhuva Manu, completely competent to rule this world, to rule the kingdom, and be perfect in all ways. And if he's speaking these words, what to speak of Kali Yuga entities like us, like me, right? So that's the power of Maya. And Narad Muni has come here, and Narad Muni understands that this world is created, although to give us a chance to enjoy, to so-called enjoy in this world, Nityo Nityanam Chaitanya Chaitanya, Eko Bahunam Vidadati Kaman, to fulfill our desires. The real reason this world is created is to give us a chance to understand the Supreme Lord, Brahma Saukhyam Anantam, the supreme abode of the Lord we are meant to go for. And so everything that Narad Muni approaches is to help the soul, the living entity, every person to take one step towards that Yad Gatva Na Nivartante, that supreme abode. And in that way, as devotees, I heard in one place where we can either affect the life of another individual by helping them to take one step towards Krishna. Or in our association, we might not help them take one step towards Krishna or one step away from Krishna. Or we may affect a person by making them go one step away from Krishna. That we should never do. And we can see Narad Muni, every place he goes to, he inspires that soul in a specific situation that the person is in to make progress in the path of bhakti. And sometimes as devotees, our intent might be right, but the way we present it, the way we put forth it, without understanding the situation might be wrong, that we might even uproot the small faith that the person already has, and that is Jiva Himsa. We should be very careful. And so I was thinking, right, after hearing Prabhuji's class also yesterday, how Prabhuji said that a preacher is one, like a Kshatriya can smell blood, Prabhu said. Right? He knows how to exactly come to the situation and act. So a preacher is one who can see what situation unfolds and use every situation to bring the person closer to Krishna. And so if I think of Narad Muni, right, he saw Dhruva Maharaj. He is a potent, great candidate. And he tested Dhruva Maharaj. You're a small boy, go back home. Don't take it seriously. This is only illusionary energy. Many great personalities have tried and they have failed. But he tested Dhruva Maharaj and then gave him what he really wanted. Some people Narad Muni approaches, like Prahlad Maharaj, who is in the womb of Kayadu. He knows he's a great personality, he's Mahabhagavat. And he gives him Bhagavad Dharma. Tells Indra, don't. This is a great devotee in the womb of a wife of a great demon. And he gives him the pure knowledge. Some people Narad Muni encounters, Nalakuvara Manigriva. He thinks these people are goners. There is no hope. Next life, they will become trees for not even understanding what the basic principle of morality is, not being able to cover their bodies, completely engrossed in intoxication and illicit relationships. When a great soul is coming, they don't even know what is to be done, what is not to be done. Rather, let me curse them so that they can become trees. But in the courtyard of Nanda Maharaj in Gokul, when he saw them, he thought they're such beautiful, wonderful personalities, sons of Kubera. How wonderful it would be if they were devotees. And when they offer prayers to Krishna later on, they say, Vani Gunanu Katane Shravanau Kathayam Hastaucha Karmasu Manastava Padayorna. I will use every sense, oh my Lord, in your service. At that time, when we got cursed by Narada Muni, we didn't realize. We were still becoming trees. But now we understand, becoming trees in your courtyard, we could drink that butter in the water that you have washed your hands from. And they took the time and they realized and they become great devotees. And here is Uttanopada, where Narad Muni knows that this personality is engrossed so much in Griha Medhi life, in being attached to money and women and wealth and followers and position. And for that, he is not suitable right now to be given the highest essence. And we will see how Narad Muni unfolds, getting him to the place of repentance and then using that platform to give him the highest knowledge. Similar to Chitraketu Maharaj. When Angira Muni came, he was not ready, he was lamenting, oh no children, I want a son. And so he knew, okay, let's do yajna, got a son, Harsa Shoka, the same son will give you misery also. And when that son was poisoned by the other wives, Kritadyuti is lamenting, King Chitraketu is lamenting, and he comes back with his friend Narada Muni. And again they realize he's not fully ready yet, now he's lamenting. Either hankering or lamenting. Shoka, moha, something is there. So now he has to bring back that son to life, and the son has to give him that knowledge, and then they know he's ready for renunciation from material attachments, and then gives him bhakti. Prabhupada was perfectly like that, a perfect doctor, a perfect chemist. And he knew when to cut the knot, when to apply a balm, when to fix a dislocation, when to massage. In every situation, one person would come, Prabhupada, he says he's God. Prabhupada said, no, he's a dog. Tell him he's rascal number one. Oh, Prabhupada, this is going to be on live news. It doesn't matter. Prabhupada was relentless. Another person in LA came, Prabhupada, aren't we all God? And Prabhupada could sense where he was coming from. Devotees thought he's going to be slaughtered alive by Prabhupada's intense argument. Prabhupada said, no, look at Yashoda Maya. She is capturing Krishna in pure devotion. When you can attain pure devotional service, aham tu bhakta paradino, yes vatantra yuvadvuja. Krishna comes under the control of a devotee. You can become greater than God. Why do you want to become God? And that person took Krishna consciousness. Another person would come and he asked Prabhupada in an interview, what is right, Prabhupada? Dvaita, Advaita, Vishishta Dvaita, this, that. And Prabhupada knew this person is a mental speculator. He just needs to chant Hare Krishna. Prabhupada said, Dvaita or Advaita, you need Anna, right? You need food to eat. He said, yes. And Prabhupada quoted, Annat bhavati bhutani parjanyo anna sambhavaha yagnat bhavati parjanyo yagnat karma samudbhavaha. Perform your karma, which is your yagna. You will be happy whether you're a Dvaita or Advaiti. Doesn't matter. And Yagna, Prabhupada connected to Sankirtan Yagna, chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. So Prabhupada would perfectly connect that specific devotee with that specific medicine. And sometimes Prabhupada knew that these people don't even want an answer. They just want to win an argument. And so Prabhupada would joke. And I saw that one joke that somebody posted in an IYF group. Some devotee is asking, Prabhupada, a reporter is asking, why are you taking an aeroplane? So Prabhupada says that all of you in the aeroplane are going at the speed of aeroplane to hell. If I come in bullock cart, I can't catch you. One person stands up and says, Prabhupada, have you seen God? And the DT is right there in front, behind that person who's standing up. Prabhupada, sit down. I can see God clearly, but you are blocking my vision. Prabhupada knew how to connect. And sometimes Prabhupada would cut the knot so hard when it was time. This big preacher brought a big donor and said, Prabhupada, give him some mercy. He's a big donor. And he thought, Prabhupada will praise me and praise this person. Prabhupada said, what do you do? A glass manufacturer. Where does glass come from? From silicon. Where does it come from? Sand. What is sand? Earth. Bhumir apo analo vayu. Everything belongs to Krishna. You're a thief. This person was taken aback. Another rich person said, Prabhupada, I'm in so much anxiety. Huh? Prabhupada said, I will relieve you of all anxiety. Give all your wealth to me. Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj came to Prabhupada. He said, Prabhupada, in your movement, you said you are not the body or the spirit soul, but all your disciples, they are treating me like I'm a black-bodied person. He wanted some massage of his feelings. Prabhupada knew how to transcend him from his position. Prabhupada said, if you are affected by the same thing that others are also affected by, because of which they are coming to the bodily consciousness, then what is the difference between you and them? And he said, that was a game changer for me. In Detroit, one Mexican model had come once, Badrinath Maharaj says, and she was so beautiful. And all the devotees are looking at her and trying not to look at her and trying to see how Prabhupada will preach to her. And she also had this feeling of, I am this person, pageant winner. And Prabhupada directly asked her, where will your beauty be in the next few years? And immediately she was taken aback. Devotees could see that she was shaken. And then when she came to the platform of being able to accept this, Prabhupada then gave her Krishna consciousness. Prabhupada was perfect. But behind all of this chastisement, behind all of this cutting the knot, behind all of this was Prabhupada's compassion. I remember interviewing Brahmananda Maharaj just a couple months before he left his body in Vrindavan. How much gratitude he had to Srila Prabhupada. He was, I heard, I think, sometime in Pakistan, and there was a lot of things going on, and Prabhupada was so anxious. And finally, when he came to Prabhupada, Prabhupada had Brahmananda Maharaj, who was huge, big, American body person. Right? Prabhupada was caressing his hair, his face, and with tears, he was bathing his face, saying, Oh, Brahmananda, I was so scared for you. Prabhupada's love was there that every person could actually experience. When Prabhupada would see the drought in Mayapur, Prabhupada looked up once and he prayed to Indra, give them some rain. And Prabhupada just waved his hand and there was thunder and rainfall. Right? And Prabhupada said nobody should go hungry within so many miles radius of the temple. That was Prabhupada's mercy. But Prabhupada knew how to approach every situation also. And here we see how Narada Muni knows that this person is not ready in this situation yet. But he brings Uttanupada to that platform where Uttanupada is now saying, I have been so addicted to my wife. I have been so attached to so many material opulences that I have not been being able to see what is right, what is wrong, what to do, what not to do. And Bhagavatam also begins with that. When Parikshit Maharaj is asking Sukadeva Goswami, please tell me what is the duty of a person who is on the verge to leaving his body very soon. He says that Tasmat Bharata Sarvatma Bhagavan Ishvara Harihi Shrotavya Kirtitavyascha Smartavyascha Icha Abhayam. If you want fearlessness, hearing, chanting, meditating on the Supreme Personality of the Lord, of Godhead, that is the way in which one can attain pure devotional service. He says, Munaya Sadhu Pushtoham Bhavatpir Lokamangalam. What you are asking is going to create amazing auspiciousness for all millennia to come. But it is not surprising that you are asking me this question. I can give you the pure knowledge. Not everybody is willing, not everyone is ready to accept this. Why? Because their vision is not self realization. One who is too attached to women, just like Uttanupada is confessing. He says, Apashyatam Atmatattvam Griheshu Grahamedinam. Apashyatam. They are not being able to see Atmatattvam, what is really beneficial for me. Griheshu Grahamedinam, although staying in family life, and here Uttanupada is a family man. He has a beautiful two wives. He's attached to one wife. But Grahamedinam, he is living as a Grahamedhi, which means living in the house, but the intent is how do I get satisfaction? How do I get more sense enjoyment? How do I get more pleasure? How do I increase my own expansion of gratification? Ata graha kshetra sutapta vittaya janasya mohoyam aham mameti. What is about me and mine? She will give me more happiness. And if I bring Dhruva Maharaj, Dhruva, and keep him on my lap, and I have a 4-year-old, almost a 5-year-old daughter, right? And sometimes at night I cuddle into her. She wants to sleep next to me. She wants to sit on my lap. She wants to sing with me, paint. It is natural for a father to have affection for a child. And here, Uttanupada is having so much affection. He didn't want to reject Dhruva Maharaj. But because he was so addicted, there is attraction, then there is attachment. And here Prabhupada is saying these words are so important. Addiction to wife, that she will not satisfy me. And so, Grihamedinam, what happens to that person? It says that Shrotavyadini Rajendra Nrinam Santu Sahasrashaha. Those people have so many different topics to discuss. Sports, politics, women, career, this, that, so many different topics. So that person, it is described that at night they are just interested in just enjoying with opposite sex, or nidra hriyate, naktam, night time is just gone in gratification. And during the daytime, samsara bharanenava, just to fulfill the so-called material obligations, they're just working so hard like dogs and hogs. And when Narad Muni knows this, Narad Muni gradually brings Uttanupada to the higher stature of life. It was interesting. A few weeks back, I was attending Griha Pravesha, housewarming ceremony of one of the devotees. And Grihastha Ashrama is actually a very good platform for general populace to make advancement in spiritual life. Ashrama. Shrama means lot of effort, work. Ashrama means lot of work, extreme work. But the work and the effort and working so hard, what they are trying to bring so much of their energy for in that platform of ashram is to make spiritual advancement from the situation that they are in. And Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada in 1931, he attended a Griha Pravesha ceremony of one of his devotees, Govinda Ghosh, and a Bengali devotee. And he would support the temple, he would perform Sankirtan, he performed so many wonderful Krishna conscious activities. And Bhakti Siddhanta Prabhupada gave a wonderful class in the evening. And maybe it's at some point we can Google this and you can find the entire excerpt of the class. And one of the things he speaks about is that it is not wrong to love one's wife, to serve one's children, but understand that they are belonging to Krishna. So, in the mood of this person is supposed to be enjoyed by Krishna, and Krishna has put me in a situation where I can actually help and serve this devotee. Let me work very hard also. And he talked about how to enter the house in the mood of entering a mutt or entering a temple. So he gives many instructions to grihasthas. But if it is used in the wrong method without keeping Krishna in the center, then it takes longer. And sometimes that devotee or that person, in this case Uttanupada, has to go through the motions of that attraction, attachment, hurting him, where he has lost Dhruva Maharaj, he has lost Suniti. Similarly, we see so many, whether it is man for a woman or woman for a man being attached, overly addicted, it results in some kind of a pain. Here, Prabhupada says that now he was very sorry. Such a person is never to be neglected. Now he's feeling very sorry. These words are very important. The king said that since he is very much addicted to his wife, he lost all his mercy. This is the result of being too affectionate towards women. The king had two wives. So Bhartrahari, right? So he was so addicted to his wife. And there's a long story where he understands that this is only going to cause more pain in the long run. And then he says, Yam chintayami satatam mahishabhirakta sapayam ichyati jananam janasya sakta asmat krite chu paritashyati kachidanya tiktam cha tam cha madanam cha imam cha namam cha. To fight on that addiction, on that attachment, which has led me to this situation where I'm feeling so sorry for myself. Yam chintayami satatam. That same person that I've been thinking so much about, being addicted for, actually took me away from the essence of what life is supposed to offer. And similarly, Bhagavatam also describes the story of Pingala, who was so attached to a man. And she is then crying out. And she is saying that Aho me mohavitatim pashyata vijitatmana. Look at my senses which are uncontrolled. Kamayena balisha. This is only the desire to enjoy that is pulling me away from Santam Samipya Ramanam Rati Pradam, Vitta Pradam, Nityam Imam Vihaya, the Supreme Lord, Radha Ramana, Krishna who is there within the heart, who is supposed to give the highest bliss. I have forgotten Krishna. I have turned my face away from Krishna, and now I am thinking that this person or this thing will give me happiness. So that said, although Bhagavatam speaks that while performing our day-to-day duties, dharma swanushtata pumsa visvakshena katasuya na utpadayat rati ratim. If rati, attachment, attraction for Krishna is not being developed, performing the so-called duties, shrama eva hi kevalam, it is just wasted, useless labor, wasted time. But in ISKCON, right, there have been so many fatalities of devotees misinterpreting this or artificially trying to bring oneself or show oneself that I am so transcendental, that addiction is one extreme, but not even wanting to be so-called attached or affectionate towards one's own family members, to the point where I heard a class of Maharaj in Mayapur many years ago. And he said, here is a Prabhupada disciple and a wife of a Prabhupada disciple. The wife who was so lovingly serving her husband, who was so lovingly cooking nice prasadam, offering it to Krishna, supporting him in the preaching mission, doing so much, giving everything to this husband. But the Prabhuji was wanting to artificially pretend or be a person where I am unattached. I have no connection with women, with my wife, with my children. I am actually a brahmachari. I am a grihastha brahmachari. I am no different from these brahmacharis. And being in a platform where he is not even giving that little bit of love, that even while coming to the temple, not feeling like, okay, she's my wife, she needs to have that emotional connect, being away and not giving that emotional support, to the point where they split up and she married a non-devotee and she started cooking meat for him who was loving her. So the point is, we have seen both extremes, right? We know the story, we have heard so many different stories, even in the Bhagavatam. Lochan Das Thakur, he was married at a very young age. And then he went to the ashram of Narhari Sarkar. And he learned complete brahmacharya. He learned the essence of love of Godhead. And he was so happy. He didn't want to come back and marry and stay with a woman, enter into Grihastha ashram. But All his parents, the wife's parents came and they said, "Oh, my dear Narhari Sarkar, he is your dear disciple, but he's already married at a young age. He has come to age, he has to stay with his wife." And his Guru Maharaj instructed him. And so he came back to the village and he met her. He didn't know this is my wife. They had grown up. And then he asked, "So, mother, where is the house of such and such?" And later he understands that this mother he asked, he called off, was his wife. And he said, "I saw you as a mother, I can never see you as a wife." Our vision is not like that. So we cannot artificially imitate. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, after getting married, he came his stories where he is Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. These are great gopis, manjaris, sakhas, Krishna's associates. He doesn't have the slightest material desire in his heart. And of course, that's a different story, right? We should not artificially imitate. We should follow in the footsteps. And we should be truthful to ourselves and accept the golden standard. Aspire to get to that standard and pray to Krishna. And in this purport of one very famous verse in Srimad Bhagavatam, Kayena Vacha Manasendriyena, in that verse, Prabhupada describes, quoting from Jiva Goswami, how a devotee, a grihastha otherwise, can use this addiction, this attachment, this attraction by diverting that to Krishna. Attachment is not wrong, but attachment to Krishna and attachment to others and other things in relation to Krishna, without forgetting that Krishna is the center. Prabhupada says, Ya pritir avivekanam vishayar anupayani. Sasmaret napa sarpato. So he's saying that Ya pritir avivekanam, in avivekata, without having the right intelligence, pritir, I'm having intense attachment to this thing, this activity, this person, this thing. Samupayani. So I have so much of this attachment, Krishna. Yes, Maret. But while I'm engaging in some activity that is pulling me away from you, Smared, let me have your remembrance in this. And in this remembrance, let me purify this attraction. And let this attraction to this activity be diverted to attraction to you, my Lord. Let this attraction remain, but let the focal point of this attraction move towards you, Krishna. Because Jiva Goswami also says that too much of naiti, naiti, no, 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 pulling myself from everything, being so guilty, just makes the heart barren. Bhakti is full of attraction, intense attraction. Because Krishna is all attractive. So how do I divert this attraction? Yuvatinam yatha yunau cha yuvatim yatha manobiramanastasya manobiramatam tvayi. Let that same attraction that I have for this person be diverted to you, Krishna. So in this way, when one gradually transcends, then one can actually attract the mercy of the Lord. But just running away from it, or of course, not succumbing to it, following the principles is important. But remembrance of Krishna and diverting that attraction towards Krishna is most important. So, one of the things I was thinking of was Gaura Purnima festival is coming up, right? And the aspiration of a devotee and the meditation should be, oh my Lord, let me try to please you in some way that I can have a glance of your mercy. And by having the glance of your mercy, whatever addiction, attraction, attachment I have to so-called things not associated with you gets dovetailed to attraction to you, my Lord. Kaivalyam narakayate. Tridasha akasha pushpayate. Durdantendriya kala sarpa patali protkada dramshtiyate. My fangs, my poisonous senses are like the fangs of that serpent, ready to bite anytime, ready to just sprout up anytime, my Lord. Vishwam Purna Sukhayate. This world can actually be a world full of happiness when it is only about your bhakti in the center. Vidhi Mahendra Kitayate. I don't care about anything else in this world, my Lord. When is this possible? Prabodhananda Saraswati Prabhu says that Yat Kataksha Gaura Vaibhavatam Gaura Chandrastuma. When the Supreme Lord Gaura Chandra gives a little glance of his mercy towards you, just one little glance. So in that mood, Braj Bihari Prabhu had come to our house when he visited us last time, and we were just sharing some things, Grihastha life, how to make advancement, problems we have, and he made a very nice point. He said, "Don't force artificially Krishna to be the center of every activity." I'm like, Prabhuji, what did you just say? I've been hearing this all the time, right? Krishna has to be the center of every activity. He said, don't force that. He said, make Krishna consciousness one important pillar in your life. Like you have career, you have family life, you have your social life, and you have Krishna consciousness. You dedicate some specific time to your career. When you're at work, you're not chanting in the middle of a meeting that you should present something on, right? So you're focusing on that. When you're chanting, when that pillar is being worked on, focus only on chanting. And gradually, as you focus specific time on that pillar, like Yugal Krishna Prabhu says that Monday to Friday make home your temple, weekend temple your home, right? So when you're focusing on that pillar of Krishna consciousness, give full focus to that. But when you're focusing on other things, give the relevant focus to that also. If my daughter wants some specific time to play with me, I cannot always say, no, only I'm chanting and we'll keep chanting and playing, correct? So that's what happens. So he said, as you do that, and as the taste for Krishna increases more and more and more, then automatically, organically, this pillar will gradually shift to the center. Even at work, it will automatically exude from your personality that you're not forcing yourself. That the attraction for Krishna has come so much, and using that pillar as a central pillar has become so much that whomever you come in touch with, the conversations you can have, what you eat, what you do, what you speak, how you are, your behaviors automatically bleeds into the others in your social life, in your personal lives. If not, many a times we're just rushing through our Krishna conscious pillar and artificially pulling that pillar into all other aspects when I am not completely there yet, and not giving that dedicated time that the other pillar has been fueled with that specific nutrition it has needed. And when Prabhu said that, I'm like, yes, that makes so much sense. So, in that mood, Narada Muni is so practical, and when it is time to give that specific medicine, he does not withhold himself from giving the actual medicine to the full degree. Um, And one of the things I was just thinking about when we were talking with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and how to chant the holy names of the Lord. Trinadapi Sunechena, Tharorapi Sahishnana, Amanina, Madanina, Siti, Madadina, Kirtanaya, Sada Hari. So, in that mood, when Mahaprabhu would actually approach any devotee, right? Especially in Kali Yuga when he appeared, like the story that Yugal Kesha Prabhu described of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu bidding farewell from Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. He goes down to Kurma Kshetra first. And in Kurma Kshetra, when he sees this devotee, Kurma Brahmana, Kurma Brahmana is completely Krishna conscious, performing his devotional service, and he sees the Lord. He says, Lord, I want to travel with you. I want to just be with you. I want to let go of my family. Two instructions Mahaprabhu gives. No, stay with your family, perform Harinam Sankirtan, chant the holy names, and give the holy names to others. Yare dekho tare kam Krishna Upadesh. Right? Give this, spread this message and chant the holy names. The same place, Vasudev Vipra comes. And this Vasudev Vipra, we know the story of Vasudev Vipra, how worms would be eating his flesh and he would be having a leprosy body. People would be staying away from him, foul smell. But pure devotee of the Lord, he comes to the house of Kurma Brahmana. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has left. And Mahaprabhu understands that he has come. Mahaprabhu comes back, embraces him, and he gives him a golden, young, beautiful complexion body. And he's saying, my Lord, I'll be inflicted with pride. Mahaprabhu says, no. Always chant the holy names of the Lord and give this message to others. And always be tolerant like a tree and be humble. And I was thinking of tolerant, humble. It's easy to pretend, it's difficult to be genuine, but tolerance is very difficult, especially in Grihastha ashram. Some little thing my wife says and it is not in line with what I was thinking, and it's difficult and it is very interesting. After the Thursday Kirtan, Harish Prabhu, who sang so beautifully at 8 o'clock, right? He and I were talking over Prashadam and we were talking about some qualities. of tolerance and humility and some other things. He was mentioning that he has a tenant who has occupied one of the houses, and he called the tenant non-devotee, Asian 40-year-old man, single man living in the house. His name is Josh. And he called, he said, how's the house? Everything good? So he says, yeah, everything is fine, no problem. Nothing much, everything good. He said, yeah, I haven't talked to you in a while. Is the house in good condition? Are you sure? He said, yeah, nothing much, everything's good. He's like, still, tell me, nothing much. Is there anything? Yeah, it's fine, but the heat is not working. I'm like, Hare Krishna, this is winter, Michigan, heat is not working. He said, what? And you're telling me this now when I'm calling you? And he said, anything else? He said, yeah, the garbage disposer, that is not working either, that is broken. He said, okay, I will come and I'll fix it. Right? If his house owner, he would know handyman work. And he said, okay, I'm coming in the next couple hours. He said, okay, if you're coming, bring a flashlight. There is no electricity also. He's like, which planet are you from? As Yugal Sharma was sharing how in New Vrindavan, power goes off in the winter. Detroit also sometimes it used to go off. And it is so austere having a candle and having to dress the deities or wearing 2, 3 blankets on us and it's cold. And this person, not even a devotee, I'm like, how can he be so tolerant? And he said, how long has this been going on? He said, last couple months. And he went to the house, he saw the fuse box, the switch had half melted. And that's why the connection was not there. He just changed the fuse box. A few more days later, the house would have burned down. But this person, the previous owner or the tenant had left a bed. He has never used the bed. He would sleep on the floor. I remember Bhakti Prem Maharaj when he came and he stayed with us in our house. We had cleaned the bed, put a new bedding, everything, and we asked Maharaj, please, you should sleep. And we gave the master bedroom, of course, like we all do it. And Maharaj, the bed was pristine, not even one little anything to show that somebody had slept. And then next night, we're like, Maharaj, please, Maharaj, you have to use the bed. You cannot sleep on the floor. And then Maharaj said, okay. And the next day, Maharaj came out of the room and then we checked. The bed had been like moved around a little bit. But we knew Maharaj didn't sleep. Maharaj didn't want to make us feel bad. So he just moved some mattresses around or the blanket around to make us feel that he has used it. Of course, he's a sadhu, and there are so many ways in which karmic reactions get passed. But the point is, this person, Joshua, had never slept on the bed. He would just sleep on the floor, no electricity. I'm like, what kind of a person is he? As devotees practicing for so many years, we're still not being able to tolerate some little urges, right? And Mahaprabhu gets very pleased, right, when we are tolerant. I think myself, I hope my wife is not hearing this class, but humility, tolerance, and the qualities of the devotees. It doesn't matter grihastha or sannyasi. Shivananda Sen, we know the story, how he would arrange the tolls, the taxes of all the devotees to travel to Jagannath Puri. And one day he was stuck, right, paying all the taxes and the tolls, and the devotees went forward and they were under a tree, no place to stay, they're hungry. Nityananda Prabhu is there. Nityananda Prabhu was saying, this rascal Shivananda Sen, I curse him that let his sons die. Here's a devotee of the Lord. Here's the devotee giving his everything to Mahaprabhu's mission. And Nityananda Prabhu, Avaduta, he's cursing him. When Shivananda Sen comes, he kicks Shivananda Sen in his chest. Can you imagine? When we first heard this, I was taken aback that, okay, how can I understand this fully, right? And there Shivananda Sen was praying. This mercy has not been achieved by even Brahma, even the great demigods. And then later I heard the purport of the story once, and it is described that if Nityananda Prabhu had given the mercy of his lotus feet to Shivananda Sen, the other devotees might feel, why is Shivananda Sen giving? Even we do so much service. Even we deserve. Say, Radhanath Maharaj comes here and he offers his lotus feet for a devotee to put it on his head. Other devotees will be like, what can I also do to get that mercy? But here Nityananda Prabhu made it look like I'm chastising this person. But Shivananda Sen got the mercy. So that's the mercy of the Lord. And his sons didn't die. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave them all so much mercy. After coming to Jagannath Puri, personal association, personal Mahaprasad from the hands of Govinda, whether it's Paramananda Das or Chaitanya Das, all his sons. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu didn't care. It might be Pundrik Vidyanidhi with so much opulence. It might be Shivananda Sen, whose wife was pregnant and got so much mercy from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Mahaprabhu does not see Naham Vipra Nachanarapati Napi Vaishya Shudra. It doesn't matter who you are. But it's the way in which one uses one situation to serve Krishna, as all Krishna sees. And here is Narad Muni, who is gradually, through detachment, through repentance, he comes to that platform where he can give him actual Krishna Prema. In that mood, Amog Leela Prabhu says that the devotees follow 3 or 4 C's. First one is to connect with the person, right? So how can I connect with this individual? And then how can I convey the message? And then how do I convert the material mentality of a devotee to spiritualizing it? So similarly, whether it is Nalakavara Manigriva, whether it is Dhruva Maharaj, whether it's Uttanupada, whether it is Chitraketu Maharaj, whether it's Dhruva Maharaj, where they are and what can they take, and from that platform bringing them to bhakti is the essence of what Narad Muni is trying to bring out. And the last point here, it's described in the purport that Dhruva Maharaj was only 5 years old and the father should not banish his wife or children. But Manusmriti says that at certain situations one can banish. And like Duryodhana, right? We know that even after the peace situation that Krishna tried to bring forth didn't happen. Then final conversation was there between Dhritarashtra, he brought Vidura, and then we know how Duryodhana slandered him with abusive words, and Vidura went on the pilgrimage. Vidura says that this person, he doesn't care for the devotees of the Lord. He does not even care for Krishna. If you are taking care and protecting a non-devotee like Duryodhana, the whole dynasty will be ruined. He needs to be rejected even if it's your son. Right? So situations like that where Prabhupada is saying that if they don't follow the social customs, the family customs, the traditions, in certain situations where even Prabhupada's wife, right, she sold the Bhagavatam book of Prabhupada to bring biscuits to dip with tea, because tea is not complete without biscuits. So Prabhupada finally had to ask tea or me, right? And Prabhupada is an acharya who's again in that situation at that specific time for a specific reason. But he says that sometimes only if it's in dire straits, but otherwise, what to speak of a devotee like Dhruva Maharaj. Jai Srila Prabhupada ki Jai, Granth Srimad Bhagavatam ki Jai, Jai Gauri Mande, Hari Hari Bol.
Yes, Prabhu ki Jai.
Prabhupada. Any questions or comments? Hare Krishna. Yes, Prabhuji. Today Sunday feast will be at the same time, Prabhuji. Yes. 12. Jai Hare Krishna. Dhanva Pranam.
Thank you very much, Advaita. Wonderful class. Thank you. Hare Krishna.